Hey guys, SH here, and welcome to my 12th episode of Battlefield 4 Weapon Guide. In this episode, I'm going to be covering the M16A4 Assault Rifle. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Oh, right. This gun used to be one of my favorite weapons back in Battlefield 3 because of its competitive reloading speed and its moderate rate of fire. And yes, it is back now in Battlefield 4 as an assault rifle class. And one bad news though is that there is no M16A3. The DICE decided to take this gun out back in the alpha version of the Battlefield 4 because they realized that if they put the M16A3 back in Battlefield 4, I guess they were thinking that everyone's gonna start using that gun in Battlefield 4. And I think that's one of the reasons why the DICE decided not to put that gun back to the Battlefield 4. If you look at Battlefield 3, M16A3 was the dominant gun in that game. So M16A4, what is different from Battlefield 3? Well, a lot of people think that M16A4 got better, but no, it is not. The DICE decided to nerf some kind of stuff such as a recoil, and yes, the recoil got increased by quite a lot. If you guys look at the stats in Battlefield 3, the recoil wasn't that big of a deal, especially in M16 variants. But in Battlefield 4, yes, they nerfed some of the recoil and some of the first shot multiplier. And because of that, a lot of people stopped using the M16A4 as their primary assault rifle just because for the fact that it's a first fire weapon and the DICE nerfed this gun by quite a lot. But anyway, let's first look into the stats of this weapon. The M16A4 is going to have a maximum damage of 25 up close and it's going to drop into 18 at a distance, which means that it's going to take between 4 to 6 shots to kill, but generally 5 shots to kill because that is going to be the range that you're going to be engaging people mostly with. And then the drop off starts at 8 meters and drop off ends at 55 meters. That is very standard among the entire assault rifle class. So just expect for the people drop off in around 5 shots. So just know about that. And also, if you can get some headshots with any assault rifle, it is generally going to take between 2 to 3 less shots to kill. So if you actually can get a headshot to the enemy, the shots to kill is going to decrease by a significant amount. And then now let's talk about the rate of fire. The rate of fire of this gun is very moderate, firing at 800 rounds per minute. And if you compare it to weapons such as M416 or Ace-23, yes, you can actually outgun them just by looking at its rate of fire. But one thing to remember though is that this is a burst fire weapon and you're pretty much not going to be able to fire at full 800 rounds per minute because there's a delay between each 3 shots. And because of that, I personally did not like using the burst fire weapon in Battlefield series. And also, do not oversample the burst fire weapon. You're gonna regret it. While recording some of the gameplays today, I had a lot of struggle and I had a lot of deaths because I was kept freaking oversampling my weapon and I just did not have fun while just getting killed over and over. And if you actually oversample, your accuracy generally decreases by quite a lot. I do not know the exact stats, but just by oversampling the weapon, you can actually feel that your accuracy is decreasing by quite a lot. So please do not oversample with this weapon because the bullet's gonna go all over the place if you oversample and it's just not fun. Now for the muzzle velocity, it fires at 650 meters per second, and if you put a suppressor, it's gonna drop down to 340 meters per second. If you want to put a suppressor, yes, you can go ahead and put it in, but I kinda do not recommend you putting a suppressor on this weapon because this gun is designed for long range. If you actually see a guy in close range, there's a high amount of chance that you're gonna get outgunned by them. So yeah, you can put it in, but I kinda do not recommend you doing it. And the bullet drop is very standard at 15 meters per second. In fact, all the fully automatic guns in Battlefield 4 has a bullet drop of 15 meters per second, so that is very standard. And the magazine size is also very standard among the entire assault rifle, which has 31 rounds total. And then now let's talk about the reload. The reload time is one thing that this gun stands at, which only takes 1.8 seconds with one in the chamber and 2.37 seconds with empty. And because of this reloading speed, that is also one of the reasons why a lot of people like using the M16A3 back in Battlefield 3 because of its competitive reloading speed and its low recoil. And yes, just like in Battlefield 3, the reloading speed is exactly the same. And also, this gun has one of the fastest reloading time in the entire assault rifle class. So if you want to reload fast and if you want to take guys out extremely quickly, yes, you can try this gun out, but just remember, this is a burst fire weapon. So if you oversample it, you're pretty much screwed. And then now let's talk about the recoil. Well, For reference, I'm gonna first tell you about a recoil of this gun back in Battlefield 3 and then to Battlefield 4 because I want to show you how it improved or how it got nerfed. So back in Battlefield 3, it has a left recoil of 0.075, recoil up of 0.26, and recoil right to 0.3. And now in Battlefield 4, they decided to nerf some of the recoil, so now it's gonna kick 0.1 to the left, 0.34 to the up, and 0.4 to the right. And I know it doesn't sound too significant at all, but if you actually use this gun back in Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4, you are gonna feel that increase in recoil. And I used to be one of the hardcore M16A4 gamer back in Battlefield 3, and yes, I was able to feel that increase in recoil, and that kind of bugged me a little bit. But if you are the first time using this weapon in Battlefield 4 right now, you're probably gonna be fine with it because, you know, it's your first time, and as long as you burst fire with this weapon, well, this is a burst fire weapon, you are pretty much gonna be good to go, and you should be very accurate in the long range. And one interesting thing about the burst fire weapons in Battlefield 4 is that there is no first shot multiplier. Instead, they have a third shot multiplier, so if you first fire the weapon accurately, it is gonna register, and until you get the third shot out, it is not gonna kick at all. So first and the second shot is gonna have a 1 times multiplier, and then the third shot is gonna have a 2.5 times multiplier in this weapon. So as long as you're accurate over a range, I'm sure this gun can be extremely deadly. And now let's talk about the aim down sight accuracy of this weapon. The aim down sight accuracy is very standard among the entire assault rifle class, which if you stand is gonna have an aim down sight accuracy of 0.2, and if while moving it's gonna drop down to 1. And yes, if you do not understand what I'm saying, just ignore that and just think that it is very standard among the entire assault rifle class. So overall, I'm still very glad that this gun is back from Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4 as an assault rifle class. But I still think that this gun kind of needs a buff from the dice because the recoil, I don't know, the recoil is kind of hard to manage than Battlefield 3. And I know if you guys are first using this gun, you can completely ignore this. But in my opinion, I think they should try to make the stats exactly the same as Battlefield 3 because I don't think the M16A4 was overpowered at all back in Battlefield 3. I think the M16A3 was overpowered, and I think that's one of the reasons why they decided to put that gun away in Battlefield 4. But M16A4, no, it wasn't overpowered. It's a burst fire weapon and no one likes using the burst fire weapon. And I just want to see some of the buff from the dice because the recoil, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to manage. And that doesn't mean that this gun has one of the worst recoil at all or something like that. The recoil is still manageable, especially if you put an angle grip on, it should reduce the recoil by quite a lot. But for me, no, it wasn't just my choice, especially the burst fire. I'm just stuck at using the burst fire weapon. So I think that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this weapon guide. If you guys enjoy this video, you know what to do. Like, favorite, and subscribe. And I think that's it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video again, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace!